Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Danielle, aka Stitchery Tape here on YouTube, and today is Sunday. I know, I never do a video on Sunday, so you guys are getting a treat today. It is Sunday, November 6th. Today is daylight savings time in our area, so we actually got an hour more of sleep, but it didn't feel like it because I woke up at 4, had a bad dream, and then couldn't get back to sleep until 6, and then Bill was traipsing up and down. Yeah, because today is grocery shopping day. So we went to breakfast. Bill didn't remember it was daylight savings time, so when he figured out it was actually 7:15 and not 8:15, he was like, "Ooh, we can go to breakfast." And then we went to the grocery store. So Bill was off this week from work, so we saved a little bit on groceries because we didn't have to get stuff for his lunches. Yeah, he has 2 weeks that he has to use up or he loses it. So of course you're going to use it. So he's off this whole coming week and then the week of Thanksgiving. Yeah. I'm off work tomorrow, which I'm glad about. And so Friday, okay, yeah, let's recap because, you know, I had a rough couple days. Just frustrated with everything. Friday, I was done work by, let's show you the other side of the mug because I got this at Hobby Lobby, like 40% off or something. It looks like a Ray Dunn mug. It's not a Ray Dunn mug, but that's like the typeface it looks like. Anyway, I also got one, side note, I also got a green one that says thankful that I got for like 60% off because they had all their stuff on sale. That was awesome. So Friday, in between work and everything else, I tried to finish that small pumpkin stack and I fucked it up and I wound up throwing it in the trash. And I was just beside myself. Like, I was like, why do I have so much trouble with this stuff? And I was just so... It wasn't good. It wasn't a good time. So when I got done work, I just sat down and I was actually going to read some of my Bible because honestly, I find when I'm really struggling, if I sit down and I read some of that, I'm usually okay, right? By the time, so Bill gets home and I was supposed to go out in the shed and see what he was working on. Well, I wound up having to do more stuff for work, so I didn't get out there till like 5:15. And then we decided to go to dinner. So we've been not really eating out very much because it saves money. So, but we decided, let's go out. We went to Texas Roadhouse. I got their chicken Caesar salad, which was actually really good. And then we stopped and got ice cream and came home and just, it was a good evening right after the couple of days that I had had for work and everything else. Saturday, we got up and he made cinnamon rolls and we watched some TV and then I got in the shower because I had a hair appointment at noon. I had my roots done. So, and really that was the quickest and cheapest appointment that I've had in a long time because she literally just did the roots, like didn't pull any more color through because the color is still there. And I didn't get my hair trimmed this time. I told her, I said, the next time, I'll get it trimmed the next time. So I go like every 9 or 10 weeks to get the roots done. I really like Julie. She's a really, really nice person. Yeah, I really like her. So I also finished a book yesterday. Kirsten Moglen's Quiet Retreat. Really liked it. Highly recommend. So when I got home yesterday, and I had been thinking about this since like Friday night, I said, you know what? I'm going to fucking figure this finishing stuff out. I'm going to figure it out because I want to finish this piece like this. I want to do it. So I have to figure it out. So I said, one thing that I think I need to stop doing is trying to finish something in between breaks from work. So it's like I'm rushing. I need to take my time. It takes time. Okay. So I said, all right, Bill was playing poker last night. I said, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to practice because I got a lot of fabric. I have a lot of finishing forms from like the dollar store that I can use just to practice with. I'm going to practice. And that's what I did. So I also watched a bunch of finishing videos. I watched some from Chelsea and Priscilla, learned a couple things from them. I watched one and also looked through every single article that Vanna has ever done at her Creative Twist and Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher. Picked up a couple tips from there. One tip was for the rickrack. So, you know, what most people try to do, I think from what I've seen, is they will flip this over, glue the rickrack on the back using hot glue. But I didn't have an issue with that. The problem I have is with the corners. Vanna, I love that woman so much. When she does hers, she cuts 4 different pieces and just makes sure like she doesn't exactly have it in the corner. It's okay to not have it in the corner. It looked so good and I went, oh my God, that's how I'm going to do it. Yeah, that's how I'm going to do it because there's purple rickrack on this and I love that. So that's how I'm going to do it. But my thing was, how can I really wanted to perfect getting the fabric on the chipboard, because the way I was doing it, mitering the corners and sewing it works, but there's still bulk in the corners, right? And I still couldn't get it like perfectly crisp, if you know what I mean. So I watched somebody where they took the fabric and they put it down on either side, left the corners like sticking up, and then folded the fabric flat. And that did pretty good. I did do one of those and I practiced it. But then I saw that Vanna, she laces the back, okay? And I was like, let me try that. Yeah, no, didn't care for that method. But the method of how when you lace something, so she folded it in this way, laced it, then folded it these sides and laced it. Just literally folded the fabric. Didn't like twist it or try to glue it down or nothing. Literally folded it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to use my Stitchery tape and I'm going to try it. So what I did was I took a piece of chipboard, I took fabric, I put Stitchery tape. Now I'm going to have to like film this. When I do it with this, because I think this is the way I'm going to try to do it, I'm going to film it because it's hard to really explain it without showing you. So when I put Stitchery tape all on the back of the chipboard and then went to stick the fabric down, when I stuck it down and pulled it, I then ironed it to make a really tight crease. The ironing really helped flatten the fabric on the back and really helped me get those crisp corners. Now, something else I'm very particular about, and believe it or not, I feel like not a lot of people that I've watched are really don't care about this. When I glue or tape or whatever the fabric on the chipboard down to the finishing form, like, you know, putting this fabric on this piece, I want it to be glued seamlessly all the way around. I want it perfectly flat. I don't want any gaps. I don't want to be able to see underneath of it, nothing. Everybody that I've watched doesn't seem to be a concern for them. But me, I'm very particular. I want that. So I said, all right, the key obviously to doing that is getting glue at the very, very edge of your fabric, because if you don't, the edges aren't going to stick. It makes sense. And if you're using hot glue, you run the risk of it seeping out. So I said, all right, I had the fabric on the chipboard, perfect. It was flat. I was like, this is fantastic. Not a lot of bulk on the back. I was like, all right. I decided to take a finishing form I had gotten at the Dollar Tree. Like I said, not a big deal to play with it and waste it. And I said, I'm going to spread tacky glue. I have quick grab tacky glue. I put on one of my latex gloves. I put tacky glue, a liberal amount on the back of it, and then smoothed it out and made sure I got on the edges of the fabric. Then I pressed it down on the finishing form. And then I decided, now see, here is where too, it takes time. I said, you know what, I'm going to put, because I have my Stephen King hardback books that were Bill's mom's. I put a bunch of those books on there, and then I put 2 10-pound weights on it. And I said, I'm going to let that sit overnight. So that I got that done about 8 o'clock last night. And when we got home from the grocery store, I took off the books. It fucking worked. Okay. Now, yeah, don't mind this because I didn't iron the fabric. But look how crisp those corners are. And that was just by folding the fabric and using the Stitchery tape. Now, here is where I was impressed. Now, this is not pressed down totally because this is raised right here. But look how that's pressed down. That's pressed down. That's not, see, I should have put more glue around the edge of that and it would have been, but look at these sides. That is the best that I feel like I've done as far as doing this. I was so impressed. I'm like, my God, it worked. It worked where this step has to be done first and you have to let it. So for this one, what's going to happen? I'm going to get a black frame like they did. This is chipboard with orange fabric, which I will, what I will do, I will order a black frame from like pictureframes.com or American Frame or whatever. When you order a custom frame like that, it comes with foam core. So what I will do is I will put this orange fabric around the foam core. So that will be flat because that will be flush in the frame. But then the second step of putting this like spider web fabric on a piece of chipboard, that will have to be step number 2 and sit overnight because I will be doing the same thing like I did with this fabric. I will be taping it or gluing it. I mean, you could glue you could glue craft fabric. That's a little bit different. But to glue it down with the tacky glue, I will have to have books sitting on top of it because I want that piece very, very flat too. So this, to finish something like this will take me a couple days because then, 2 days? Because that one, and then I have to do this one. Okay, excuse me. So I have that down, at least I think so. Now, the bows. I bought, and I'm going to show you, a lot of people suggested to me to buy a bow maker. And again, I spent a lot of time last night like doing research and stuff like that. I found 2 different bow makers that I bought and they weren't that expensive. So this one I bought, I watched a video on it and it looked pretty cool. It's wooden, so there's 2 dowels and there's 4 holes so you can spread those apart depending on what size bow you want. So I bought that one and the video looked really easy. And you won't have to use like any pipe cleaners or floral wire in the center because you actually tie it. So I got that one. And then I got this one because I watched a video on this one too. This is like a piece of plastic. See that? Yeah. So I'm going to try both of those. Like I said, I saved videos in YouTube. So when those come, why is this not doing this? When those come, I'm going to perfect the bow making. Got to. I got to do it. So, one other thing that I purchased here recently. So, the lamp that I have, let me show you. The lamp that I have on here. When I go to the retreat in December in a couple weeks, I'm going to actually take my Lowry table clamp with me so I can take this and so I can use that. Well, I'm probably going to also, well, I'm going to take this lamp for sure. One of my issues was that where I sit normally, I'm not near a plug. This lamp, without being plugged in, I lasted fully charged and at the highest setting, like an hour. I'm like, that's not going to work because I stitch for like 6 hours a day there when I'm at the retreat. And Bill suggested, why don't you get a power bank? You know, why don't you get one of those, you know, like people charge their cell phones or whatever. And I said, I'm going to need a pretty powerful one because I'm going to need to be able to run that lamp, right, for hours, for 6 hours a day, 3 days. So I went on Amazon and I did some research and I looked at a lot of the reviews because the reviews really are the key. So I found a power bank. Here's the size of it. Looks like a cell phone, right? And if you, on the side of it, you can hit a button. It has USB, and then it has a Type-C charger that you can do. It will tell you, 71%, it will tell you the amount of charge you have. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? Last night, this was fully charged, and my lamp was fully charged. So I said, all right, I'm going to plug it in, and I'm just going to turn it on. I'm just going to leave it because I want to see how many hours. Well, I turned it off after 5 hours, and it was still going strong. And after 5 hours, this was only at 94%. I thought that was quite impressive because my plan was at the retreat, well, I'll take this up to my room every night and charge it. Make sure it's 100% the next day. That way, I'll be able to literally have this sitting on the table next to the lamp and have this plugged into it. Let's go. And I want to say this was, how much was this? Well worth it. Well worth it. I'm going to tell you how much it was because I always like quote things incorrectly, it seems like. Where is it? Okay. It was only $9. No. I had rewards points. Let's see. $31.45. Well worth it. I will link it down below because in my opinion, someone had said they used this to charge their phone and it lasted like 4 days on 100% charge. And I was like, hell yeah. So love that. Okay. Another thing for finishing. So, and how did I not know this? And I learned this one from watching a Priscilla and Chelsea tutorial. You see that fabric covered button in the center? Love that, right? And I was always like, how do you make those? Well, I didn't really research how to make those, but they did it in one of their videos. It's this little kit and I ordered it on Amazon. I'm telling you, I have like 8,000 things coming from Amazon on Monday. It's like, there's this little silicone thing. You cut the little piece of fabric and they give you the button forms. You cover the button form, the top of the button, press it in this silicone thing, trim the excess fabric, put the back on it, press that in there, and then really press it, and it presses it all together, and then you pop it out, and you have a fabric-covered button. My mouth fell open when I saw that. Dude, where the fuck have I been? So I went on Amazon, and the kit, I got a Dritz cover button kit, $7.39. Let's go, because a lot of times I like the buttons versus like a wreath or the little things. You know what I mean? Are you kidding me right now? So last night, believe it or not, I actually did some stitching after all of that. I'm determined now. I told Bill, I'm determined. Everybody makes it look so easy in the videos. It's not. But I'm going to do it. I'll fucking figure it out. And not ruin my projects, right? That's why I wanted to practice with this. But man, that stitchery tape, let me tell you, that stuff is the shiz. It really is. It's brilliant. Okay, so I did work on Halloween letters a little bit. I started watching a new series on Netflix called Killer Sally. It's about this woman bodybuilder who wound up killing her bodybuilder husband. It's actually been very good and at times very, very heartbreaking. I'm on the 3rd episode, and so I'm going to be done it soon, but I've really enjoyed that series. So remember, I'm stitching mine on Pole Stitches 28 count Lugana in Stormy Skies. So I got done. I got the W filled in last night, and then I started stitching the word October, because how I do this, because this pattern is so big, I'm not going to try to stick this whole thing. All I do is I copy whatever section I'm on, I make a copy of it, and then I just clip that. So it's only this size piece of paper that is clipped up here. So the word October is above that, and so then I'll have to, once I get that done. But yeah, I love it. I enjoyed working on it so much. And this is actually one of the hand-dyed, over-dyed, I should say, amethyst. Is that amethyst? And also what I like in these, this pattern has a lot of letters and squares that are totally filled in. Like see the W in witches, obviously, and then the O in October. And yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. So enjoying that very, very much. And I love Pole Stitches fabric. They have some, I think I paid $22 for that fabric from the UK, plus shipping. They have an Etsy store. Love their fabric. Absolutely love it. But that's it. So I'm going to stitch today for sure. I will probably get some stitching done tonight because Bill will be going to bed early because he's going fishing tomorrow. So he'll be getting up at like, 5 o'clock tomorrow. So, but yeah, I just wanted to come on here today and talk to you about all that because, man, I've been so frustrated with the finishing. I really have. I want my pieces to be perfect. I really do. And I wish I wasn't someone who gave that much of a shit, right? I wish I was someone who was just satisfied with it being good enough. No, that's not me. So, I hope you guys are all having a good weekend. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.